it's a lot easier to be recognized because you have a lot of places where you can perform live, and also there's a lot of record companies, underground record companies, who sign new bands. So I think it's easier than 5 years ago.
German bands hardly get taken serious out of Germany, and I think that's one problem for the bands themselves, to be able to be taken serious, to build up their own consciousness, everything around it, and parts of it is due to the press too, to build it up and to give the bands a chance, because I think there's a lot of talent inside of Germany, which has to be recognized outside too.
Yeah.
Which is our job partly.
Well, the problem is many German bands all like learn playing by themselves and so on, and just don't go hard enough for it. It's like more a thing they do besides their jobs and like besides school and whatever. They all have their certain things going for them. They all get their money from whatever parents and this and that, and also the way they are brought up in society is just not making them really go for, however you want to call it, rock and roll, or I don't know. It's just, it's more, if it happens, it happens. But there is too few bands that really try hard, like many American bands like practice 5-7 times a week, whatever, really go for it, like start advertising themselves in the very early stages, and like take guitar and drum and whatever lessons, and really work their ass off to get it going, and this is not happening in Germany. It's very different.
People, they say that thrash metal is now dying at the moment, and all the kids are listening to death metal. But I think with death metal, it's the same with thrash metal. Only the good bands will survive. A couple of bands will survive. And the reason for that is that the kids, they like this aggressive, this brutal sound.
I think it's a new kind of rebellion. The people are looking for new music, and death metal is obviously a new part of the heavy metal scene. And I think it's more aggressive than most other thrash acts or whatever. And I think death metal is not on the highest point right now. I think it's growing bigger and bigger, and maybe one time it's like the bigger thrash bands. You can see it in maybe Sepultura. It's not death metal actually. It's a mixture between death metal and thrash metal, but you can see they're very popular in Germany, and I mean popular all over the world. And I think it's one of the most popular thrash bands anyway. And maybe the death metal scene will grow, I think. More bands coming up, like more death metal bands who bring out demo tapes. And I mean, all in all, you could say we have big thrash bands like Creator and maybe Destruction and Tankard. And I think the scene is pretty good for heavy metal and especially death metal, because death metal is growing bigger and bigger in Germany right now. And you can see it on the concerts. People went mad here in Germany. I think it's one of the best places to play for a death metal band.
There is a very big scene that listens to all various styles, if it's whatever, grunge or death metal or thrash metal or power metal or whatever you consider it. There are a lot of people, and Germany is a very, very strong market for all that. But on the other hand, when it comes down to bands playing metal music themselves, there is only a few that live up to the international standard. And there is a big underground demo scene, especially in the death metal, growing since, let's say, like 88, 89, now maybe more likely 89, 90, since the second wave of death metal came out. There's bands like whatever, Morbid Angel and so on and on. So many bands have been influenced by them, and also Morgas are a strong influence because they are a German band, and it's always like that. When Creator first started out, there were a lot of bands that started out and copied Creator because it was the band from around, and everyone was into them, and they also see these bands are for real, and they are people they can talk to in the pub and go around with and whatever. It's like hanging out with friends. And so there is a scene like that, but the standard of all the bands and, well, how the whole thing works is, well, not that good. There is a few good bands in all the different directions, but all in all, there is no comparison, for example, to the States. There is, in the States, you have like tons of demo bands who are a lot better than what Germany has to offer.
The whole thing is pretty much structured. There's many clubs. I mean, there's the conditions for a band to start are really good, I think. But it's really, I think, a tough problem to get outside the country to be international or anything, because I think the international record companies don't show too much interest in German bands. I think that's pretty much a major problem.
That was an in-depth look at the rock.
You are tuned to Headbangers Ball on MTV, and this is a Gods of Grind special from Germany, and this is a hardest and heaviest C.